All right. And we are live.
Yay.
What's going on, Twitch? It's your boy Devin. Here with Sam and
Beck.
Beck. And tonight we are talking horror films, specifically originals versus remakes.
Oh man, this is gonna be fucking awkward. So quiet.
So I don't even know where to start with this one.
I mean,
Let's start with Suspiria.
You want to
wanna
start with
start-
Suspiria? I usually like to start kind of general and then go into a
yeah, I
specific.
was gonna say,
but
I think you would say
Okay.
Suspiria for last because that's Devin's favorite and he's God.
um,
You know?
That's true.
okay, you know what? I'll start with this. How many of these had either of you seen before?
I think I may have seen the remake of Dawn of the Dead. and
Yeah. Yeah. So I've seen the OG Suspiria. I've seen both Fright Nights. I never fully watched the new Dawn of the Dead, but I saw bits of it because I was never a huge fan.
But you'd never seen the original?
No, never.
Okay.
Didn't even know it was a sequel, actually.
You didn't know that it was a sequel to
Mm-mm.
Night of the Living Dead?
No, I didn't. That made me really happy when I found that out. But it
Okay.
made sense, like, watching it, because I was like, it felt so similar, just on a grander scale.
Well, yeah, because it's a trilogy. It's Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and then Day of the Dead.
Yeah, I watched. So actually, I've seen the remake of Day of the Dead, and it was trash.
Yeah. Apparently the original's really good, though.
Yeah, got it at FYE. Way back when they existed.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
we could kind of start with Dawn of the Dead, because I hadn't seen the original, but I had seen the remake. In fact, the remake was the first R-rated movie I ever watched.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
the story, well,
You didn't get something better.
the story behind it was that my mom picked it up from Blockbuster, and I'm sitting there on the couch. I really wanted to see it because I had heard people talking about it at school, and I'm like, I don't even know what grade I was in. I was probably in like the 4th grade at the lowest. I might have been in like the 5th or 6th grade, or no. I think, or maybe I was somewhere around there. But my mom had it, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see this movie. You should let me see this movie. And so she looked at the back. She's like, what's it rated? And she looks and it says R, youth restrived.
Yeah.
And she's like, youth restrived? What the hell does that mean? And I'm like, oh, that's like a new rating. It kind of just means like it's okay for me to watch it.
You really swindled your mom. You're a toddler.
And she's like, I'm pretty sure she just said fuck it, because she's like, okay, whatever. So she put it in and we watched it, and I instantly fell in love with the genre of zombies. I absolutely loved that movie when I was a kid. I thought it was crazy, and never saw the original up until this point, and I feel like I don't know what I've been doing with my life,
Yeah.
because the original fucking ruled. I guess what are your guys', you kind of hinted at it, but what were your guys' opinions on the remake and the original?
I think I liked them both. They were just very different movies.
Yeah.
Like, sure, they're both in a mall.
They
But-
definitely hit story beats, kind of. There were elements of the original in the remake.
Yeah.
I mean, Galen Ross was in the remake.
The guy who played
No. So whenever they're going over the embankment, like whenever the cops and like they see like that first like set of like 3 people try to go to the highway, when they're first going over to the embankment, they're like, we're going to the mall. The actor who played, I can't think of the female's name right now from the original, the actor's name is Galen Ross, and one of the stores on the mall was Galen Ross, and there was just like they just threw her name up there. I just thought it was funny. But yeah, no, they did have the guy who was like the member of like that biker gang.
Oh, Tom Savini.
Is that his name?
Yeah, he's Sex Machine and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, he was Sheriff Cahill. Yeah, he was playing but he was the sheriff in the remake. Yeah.
Well, and then what's the one guy's name from the original, the big black dude? It wasn't Roger, but his buddy Peter. I think it was Peter. Yeah, he shows up in the remake as a televangelist. He actually has the same line in both of them.
Oh, okay. The one where he's talking about them coming back from hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, hell's full, so Satan's sending like the damned back to us or something.
Fun fact, I didn't know until I looked it up because I saw him and I was like, wait, is that the guy? I fucking knew I recognized him when I was watching the original, but I didn't know what from. It was from Kenan and Kel. He was Kenan's dad on Kenan and Kel. Yeah.
That's a little like before my time, I think. I didn't really watch Kenan and Kel.
Oh man, I love Kenan and Kel.
For most of the time watching the original, I thought that guy was Morpheus. Some of the lines he had, reminded me of the character.
Oh shit, Sam.
Oh man.
All right.
Have you not seen The Matrix?
No, I haven't. I watched part of the first one and turned it off because I was like, this is some corny ass shit.
If it makes you feel any better, the second one's worse.
I've heard that.
My buddy, like, diehard fan, I watched the first one, liked
the best one.
No, dude, there's no reason they need to have like a 30-minute cave orgy scene. Like, it was so stupid. I don't understand it, but
you can get past it for the ghost people, the big courtyard fight scene. You can get past it.
No.
Right?
No, it's like AIDS, dude. It just sticks with you. Shit.
All right, we're off topic.
But yeah, so it's crazy. So there's a few things that I didn't know going into the original. Well, I knew it was like iconic and like people loved it. I didn't really know why, and I didn't realize how much influence it had on so many things that came after it.
Dead Rising, dude. Like, I think he's like the biggest
Yeah,
one
Dead Rising. It was literally Dead Rising the movie, especially when like they're turning on like the escalators and shit, and they're just like, and then when the biker gang shows up and they're all being a bunch of fucking goofballs and they're like pieing the zombies in the face and shit.
I love that scene. So one thing I love about like that the trilogy, like again, I can't speak for Day of the Dead, the original one, like Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, is that I think it shows what a zombie apocalypse would be way more like and how we would handle it, and especially at the end of Night of the Living Dead, where it's like we really just go out and just kind of fuck shit up.
Well,
initially,
so I did want to talk about one scene from the original in particular, and that's the fucking opening scene in the news station, because I think that might be one of my favorite openings to any movie of all time right there. Yeah. Just watching the chaos unfold inside of a newsroom as people are trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and there's like a divide in the room between people who want to help and people who are like, fuck this is crazy. Then there's other people who are like, this dude's off his rocker. That's not what's going on. There's no way that's what's going on. Other people are just like terrified and don't know what to do.
And there's still wasn't it like the producer who's still trying to get the ratings?
Yeah. And then you have like, yeah, he was like literally like, you got to leave those rescue stations on. Otherwise people aren't going to watch. And she's like, they're not active anymore. You're sending people to their death.
Ratings, man.
So I actually I know you guys saw it in the text chat. I was texting which version to watch, and I didn't even put up the link for the like super long one. But that one's
Yeah, I
got
almost
like
watched it.
that one's got like the Argento cut. Shout out to Dario Argento, by the way. He's gonna come up again later.
Rest in peace.
So it's got the Argento cut, the theatrical US cut, and then there was one other cut. I started by watching that one. I actually ended up watching both versions, that one and then just the extended one that's on YouTube. But the one that I first started with, that opening scene, like the second she hits the newsroom floor and those dudes are debating, that fucking theme song comes on by Goblin. So you got this like haunting fucking music in the background while these dudes are arguing, and this dude's like, they're dead, they get up, they feed on the living, and it was just like all in the first 2 minutes, and I'm just sitting here like, whoa, what the fuck? And then I see music by Goblin, and I about shit myself. I didn't realize I was watching like a version of the Argento cut, because then I watched the original, like the US extended theatrical version, and there's no music during that scene, and I was like, damn, that makes it a little less intense. But I still love that scene so much just because of how chaotic it is right off the bat. And it gives you kind of like a good introduction to the two characters that work there before cutting over to the other two characters in that fucking crazy ass police raid.
Yep.
But
why are they? I have a quick question. Why are they even raiding that hotel?
Drug dealers.
Like, okay, but there's a zombie
No, I
apocalypse.
say don't they have bigger problems?
It seems like they're still kind of trying to act like that's not happening, because they were real casual about it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, they really are the government.
But there were things that I kind of went off on a rant about the opening, but there were other things that I noticed in the movie. Like there's a moment where they're at the like landing strip in the middle of nowhere trying to fuel up the helicopter, and you hear this music start, the soundtrack, the score starts, and it's the fucking intro from Gorilla's Demon Days.
I noticed that, yeah.
And at the second it started, it just like, I'm like, oh, I know that sound.
Oh shit, man! Like, you know what I'm saying?
And then there was another part of the soundtrack that started playing, and I was like, oh, that's fucking from the beginning of Shaun of the Dead, like straight up. And then when what's his name, Roger, kills that zombie with a screwdriver, that got referenced directly in The Walking Dead. In like season 2, Andrea kills a walker with a fucking screwdriver to the side of the head.
I feel like that's reaching a bit. Is that a reference? Because
yeah,
like
they said that was a reference.
That's so dumb. Like, and no offense to the writers, but it's like, it's just a screwdriver, man. Like it's like, it's clearly a reference because it uses a screwdriver.
They said it was an homage, so.
Wouldn't the whole show be like an homage at that point? Because they like invented the saga.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is to a degree, but no, that bit in particular they said was like a reference. But yeah, it's just like, it's crazy to watch something like that and then see all the things that it's influenced or other things have kind of sampled or redone, and that's like where a lot of the ideas came from. That movie was revolutionary when it came out, and for better or worse, actually the remake was almost just as revolutionary for the zombie genre, because Zack Snyder and James Gunn, when they did the remake, I think this was just a year before 28 Days Later. I could be wrong. This was before...
Came out 2004. I'll look it up while you're talking.
But so, this was the first time that anyone had seen sprinting zombies. So so when that
28 Days Later came out 2003.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but it was like one of the first ones where you had these like sprinting fucking zombies.
Yeah.
And so it was like, holy shit. Like when you saw it, it was terrifying back then because it was so different from the normal slow shambling zombies that everyone was used to. Plus 28 Days Later, they weren't like technically zombies. I mean,
they didn't have to be killed really to earn.
Yeah, they were just like people with rabies.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of why, like, originally when I saw, like, Day of the Dead, I hated it. I don't like sprinting zombies. I think it's I don't like the concept of it. Like, I guess if you're showing it from the beginning of, like, an apocalypse, okay, it makes sense. But, like, if they're dead, they're decaying. So at a point, they wouldn't, they're literally just, you couldn't.
Hey, Beck, have you heard of a thing called suspension of disbelief?
Hey, he got you there, pal.
Doesn't make sense. I don't like it. I just don't like sprinting zombies, and I don't like saying.
I get that.
I love it.
I get that.
I love the sprinting zombie. I like both though.
No, I get that. Like, and I respect it, but they were still scary slow. I think it was intimidating, them being slow, especially in like a mall scene, because like you see them, like, you know, they're like driving through the mall and like they're hauling ass, but it's like, okay, but they do it like 20 feet. And
okay, but
like,
there's that scene where Roger fucking literally like karate chops a zombie in the parking lot and then like kind of fucking butts one with his gun.
I still think they're scary slow.
And then
there's one at the ending where Peter did a, like, I don't know what to call it. He did a throw.
That little
one.
kick.
He just threw. Didn't he just throw one completely off the railing?
I'm not sure about that, but the one I'm thinking about is basically just grabbed the guy's hand, grabbed the zombie's hand, and just did like this, and the guy flipped over.
Oh yeah,
it's what Steven Seagal's into.
And then he did like a jump kick too, and
Yeah.
No, there was earlier in the movie he literally picked a zombie up and just threw it over the side of the second story.
I think I do remember that. Yeah.
No, that little kick at the end when he's like running back up to the helicopter, I got a good chuckle out of that. It was really bad, but yeah.
But yeah, I like both of these. I will definitely take the original over the remake for this one because the remake is fun. I do like it. It's cool to see like early Zack Snyder before he got like super stylized. And also to see it's you know, like a screenplay done by James Gunn. So it's like two pretty big names coming together, and I enjoy that movie, especially with Vin Rames in it. It's a fun watch, but the originals just got like a fucking great characters with interesting backstories. A great setting with the mall and everything that happens in it. The soundtrack is fucking phenomenal, but I'm kind of
which one?
You said what?
For which one specifically?
The original.
Okay.
Not the I'm talking about the pros of the original.
No, you're fine. It's just the soundtrack, like, it's good. I don't think it matched up at points. There's some parts to where the music didn't really sell the intensity of the scene for me.
Like what? When they're driving around the mall and it's like
Yes, exactly.
No, I think that's fun because it's like they're having fun.
They're running from zombies.
They're not running.
No, at that point,
driving.
Because you could see, I mean, yeah, there were moments where they kind of got grabbed, or like the one Roger's wound got a thumb in it.
Dude, that was pretty cool.
But overall, I mean, like, you see them slowly starting to like when they're running around in the department store and then they hit that door And he's like, not too bad, Flyboy, what you got? And then they all just start like celebrating at the door, and you can see them slowly starting to like learn how to handle the situation. And so by the time we get to that scene, they're kind of kicking ass, and
Well,
and they're executing their plan. So yeah, and then they're driving through a mall. Yeah, that I think that music's perfect for that, because it's still got like the synthy poppy horn elements, and then on top of it, it kind of conveys the cheerfulness of, yeah, like we're fucking doing this. We're being heroes right now, and we're gonna take over this mall.
I
And
hear what you're saying, but I still disagree.
I loved it. I loved It's interesting though, because so Goblin did part of the soundtrack. They did like the theme, and they did I think they did that song. And they did a couple other songs on the soundtrack, and then there's like a number of other artists who also did parts of the soundtrack. And I guess part of it was just stock library music. Like there was just a library of stock music that Romero went through and kind of scored the music with that. Goblin, I guess, had more to do with the Italian version, but some of their songs still ended up on the US original version. And yeah, ever since I watched that movie, I've like been listening to the soundtrack a lot, because I think it fucking rips.
You been listening to who?
This motherfucker, we're in the car on the way back from the Detroit Gorillas show, and I'm like, hey, can you put on Suspiria by Goblin? And he's like, by who? I'm like, Goblin. He's like, Goblin D's nuts.
These nuts.
There's literally no hesitation though.
No, it's good. I knew exactly where that was going, and it just made me happy.
I didn't.
Every time you were saying Goblin, all I could think of.
Jeez, man.
But yeah, so overall, I fucking loved the original. I still like the remake, but the original has kind of hit. I think it's like a top 3 horror movie for me. Like, I think it might be the original Suspiria and then the original Dawn of the Dead are like my top 2. I don't know which one. I assume both of you are going with the original over the remake.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I said, I'm not a huge fan of the remake. One thing I do like is the female lead in both of those movies. They actually look very much alike, and I think it's kind of cool.
They do. They're not
Yeah.
the same character, but they do.
I know
Definitely
they're
look-
not. They just look very similar.
Right.
It's nice. It's like a familiar face.
Okay, I do have one gripe with the remake.
Oh, I have a lot
How?
of gripes with it.
Did the lead character's daughter turn?
Zombies.
That wasn't their daughter.
Was that their neighbor?
That was
Yeah.
the neighbor girl that was like roller skating in the street.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was their
That's
daughter.
what she
Okay,
gets for
never
roller
mind.
skating in 2004.
Yes.
Oh, also, so the guy's like standing on the street, like telling her to stay back while holding her at gunpoint, and an like open street, nothing's blocking him. That ambulance like still just hits him.
They didn't have time to stop for him. You
He's in
see
the middle of
everything
the
that's
street.
going on?
Veered. The street was open.
Dude should have
But
looked
he's
both
in the middle,
ways.
though.
I'm just saying is that they could have like easily just went to the right a little bit.
What I'm saying is that dude got what he fucking deserved.
You know, maybe
All right,
in the
Joker.
ambulance, alright, maybe the guy's partner was already a zombie, so he was fighting off a zombie while driving.
He still managed to steer perfectly on the road and hit a
Uh-huh.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's bullshit.
You said it.
Oh, excuse me.
Shut up.
Okay, so another thing I love about the original also is, speaking of crazy people, is Roger. I loved the dynamic between Roger and Peter, like when they're going through the department store and they're like, let's do some shopping, and they're running around, and then they keep coming up with these plans and they execute them throughout the mall to get shit set up. And you slowly though see this shit starting to rot Roger's brain. Like he basically goes crazy, and then at a certain point even Peter's like, dude, you're not only playing with your life, you're playing with mine. Get your get your shit together. Get your head on straight. And then he kind of snaps out of it. But I do love that kind of subtle decline in psyche from a character in that movie. I think it's like really cool and really well executed. Cause it's not like it's not overdone or like really in your face about it. It's subtle. And it gets worse and worse as time goes on, and then he kind of snaps out of it, and then, you know, by then it's too late because he's bit, but...
Well, I like when he was doing, like, that Formula 1 racing thing, and, like, you could just see it, like... That was, like, him kind of, like, diving down into, like, and just kind of succumbing to it, right?
The what?
He's, like, playing that, like, F1, like, racing arcade game.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
And he just gets, like, a weird, like, it just kind of blurs out. It's almost like a weird tunnel vision-esque thing.
Well, yeah, that was definitely when he was starting to go on the decline health-wise.
I liked that little scene, that it was, like, everybody else was just fine, like, still having a good time.
Well, and, yeah, I love that whole montage of them, like, going around the mall and, like, playing basketball and doing shopping, picking out new watches and rings and shit. And picking out all their favorite foods. Dude, that's my favorite shot in the whole movie, when they both hold up the money for the fucking camera. And then they walk out. They will actually go through the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love that. They kind of had a similar montage a little bit in the remake, but it didn't have the same charm to it.
No, see, that one was really, like, it was nice. It was. Putting all the bodies in the walk-in was funny.
Okay, what? That's where all their food is. Okay, why the fuck
Well,
are
that's
they
not
putting the bodies in
true.
there?
They had a lot of dry goods, but it was also to keep the bodies from rotting.
They should have done what they did in the remake, though, for real, and just thrown them off the roof.
That's a lot of work. Easier just to roll them into a walk-in, and, like, if you want to, take shit out of it.
No, okay, and that's another thing. You want to talk about the music not lining up? Watch that fucking version where it's like 3 cuts all edited together. There's some moments where it's like, this music makes no fucking sense for this scene.
That was just
like
the normal one.
Like in that scene when they're putting stuff in when they're putting the bodies in the walk-in, like, it makes sense for it to, like, I love the version where it's just the music from the mall playing.
Yeah.
But in one of the cuts, it literally sounds like some 70s, almost like porno-style music is playing while they're putting these bodies in the walk-in. And it's just like, I don't understand. It's just goofy. That's why eventually I was like, this is rough. Just watch and some of the cuts are so jolting. It just, the version you guys watch was definitely the version to watch. I'd like to get the Argento cut on, like, Blu-ray or something. I'd like to get a couple of the different cuts, but...
That'd be cool.
Yeah, the original just fucking... Oh, man.
I liked it way more than I thought I would.
It made me a fan of zombie stuff again, because I was a zombie fan for a long time, and then The Walking Dead and then The Walking Dead kind of fucking killed it for me. And then I kind of, like, stepped back from it, and now this reminded me of what, like, a good zombie movie can be. And it's also, like, one of the founding fathers of the zombie genre, so it was just cool to finally sit down and watch it.
Never mind.
Get your words out.
No, running zombies piss me off. I just can't. That's all I had to say.
So next movie in the line is World War Z, right?
I did not like World War Z.
I didn't like the book or the movie.
See, this is where the zombie fatigue really started to get me.
Yeah.
Just too much oversaturation.
Well, The Walking Dead was like one thing, and then
I'm sorry.
And then it was like everybody was like, look at The Walking Dead. Look how successful that is. Let's make a zombie thing. Let's make Pride and Prejudice and zombies. Let's make World War Z. Let's make fucking
Wait.
a
What's Pride and
100
Prejudice zombies?
Wait, what did you say?
Pride and Prejudice and zombies.
Oh, it's like the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer. I have that book actually, like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I have the book too. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the movie, but
Me neither. Why would I? They were just making like spin-offs of like books but adding zombies into them or supernatural shit.
yeah, but so, and that was right around, like, The Walking Dead inspired a lot of this shit, because everyone was like, look how successful zombies are, let's do zombie stuff. Then you had, like, all the zombie video games that came out around that time.
But those were good.
Some of them
think-
were not.
Zombie games are still fun.
I like a good zombie game, but
Left 4 Dead's.
dude, Dead Rising is one of my favorite video games of all time.
I have like all of those on PC.
I actually just replayed Dead Rising 3 not too long ago. I fucking loved it. I had such a good time playing it.
1 and 2 are the most superior.
Well, 2 is definitely a classic. The first one, I never actually got, like, I got to the final level where you fight the dude on the tank. I was never able to beat him. But
Good.
that's a story for another day.
It's fucking L plus ratio.
But
Bozo. L.
no, I gotta plus my PP. But no, yeah, so I've always been a huge fan of those games, and yeah, I mean, but after a while, after you just keep getting hit with it, it's like, all right, enough with the fucking zombie shit. To quote one of my favorite YouTubers, Angry Joe, no, I don't want to play another motherfucking zombie game. Like, it's just, and
Dead Space then.
oh, I'm going to when the remake
Callisto
comes out.
Protocol?
I saw that remake's coming out.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that, and I'm gonna play Callisto. But
dude, I lost it when I heard about the remake.
yeah, I mean, the same applies for the movies. It's like at a certain point, I did watch one that was really cool that I want to talk about at some point. It's called The Sadness. It's like a, I think it was Portuguese or Taiwanese. It's a zombie movie, but it's like everyone's it's like it's not a zombie infection necessarily. It's an infection that subdues the part of your brain that like filters. It basically makes you do the most demented shit you can think of, and there's some crazy shit in it. There's like one girl gets her eye cut out, and then a dude fucks her in her open eye hole.
Are we allowed to say that on stream?
I don't know.
Like, out of curiosity, are we?
I think you were telling me about that at some point.
Yeah, I think
remember.
I think I brought it up when I was
eye hole.
talking about the fact that we could
You don't forget that.
we could do some. Seeing it's crazy too.
Imagine
But
living it. She really saw it. Like shit, dude.
No, she didn't. She didn't have an
She has
um,
one.
eye.
People have 2 eyes, Devin.
Do they?
Unless you're the guy from the original Dawn
Do I?
of the Dead.
You don't know. You can't see my eye. Schrodinger's eye.
I've already seen your eye. I've seen all 3 of your eyes, bro.
But no, if you're not looking at it, then you don't know it's there.
I've seen all 3 of your eyes, bro.
You're not supposed to talk about that, alright? I've got 2.
You got 3, and one's brown.
I was gonna. Are you referencing his brown eye?
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. I could talk. I fucking love the original for this so much. It's now top movie for me. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up when it came to this one though? Or?
I mean, I just want to talk about zombie movies. If we ever do them again, we should watch Brain Dead and or Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead. There's so many of these.
The first one specifically.
Hey guys, can we watch Warm Bodies?
I've seen that movie.
Isn't
Didn't
that
hate
isn't that the one where the girl falls in love with a zombie?
it, or
Yep.
vice versa.
And then basically it heals him because blood is magical. You know?
Oh, jeez.
It is. I did not hate that movie.
It was funny.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. It was a comedy.
Hit close to home, you know.
We'll probably do zombies again at some point. Honestly, my favorite zombie movie, it might be the original Dawn of the Dead, but I think it's Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
Shaun of the Dead is
awesome.
above, because like going out to make like a parody of zombie movies, but becoming like one of the most iconic ones and best ones, I think is amazing.
Well, and it came out, if I'm not mistaken, it also came out in 2004. Like, I think when they made Shaun of the Dead, they weren't aware that they were also releasing Dawn of the Dead the same year. So it just kind of
2004.
It just kind of worked out for them, and I think that's why a lot of people went to go see Shaun of the Dead, because they're like, oh man, they just released Dawn of the Dead, and now they've got Shaun of the Dead, you know, like Scary Movie and Scream. And then even though Shaun of the Dead ended up being completely its own thing and not actually like a direct parody.
Dude. Yeah, so the new one came out March 2004. Shaun of the Dead came out in September. In comparison, the IMDb ratings for Shaun of the Dead is 7.9 compared to 7.3, but then the Rotten Tomatoes is 92 compared to 76%. It just did better.
Oh, it's a fucking banger.
On like a $6 million budget, when that's like it's 20 million less than the Dawn of the Dead remake. Yeah.
But
they didn't have a zombie baby in Shaun of the Dead, so
that's very true.
Yeah, they shot a baby, just so everyone knows.
That was also, though, funny enough, you know, Dawn of the Dead, it's like running zombies and there's a lot of people getting eaten and stuff, but the craziest thing I fucking saw that year was the scene where, what's his name, in Shaun of the Dead, where he gets yanked through the window of the pub and they, like, tear his fucking stomach open.
Yeah, I think the first time I watched that movie, I just kind of
that's it.
And stopped watching it right there.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember.
I did not like gore.
I remember watching that with my parents at the time. It was later the same year, and we rented that. And my mom was like, "Well, you already saw Dawn of the Dead, so this is just a comedy. Let's watch this." And when that scene happened, I remember like kind of getting sick seeing it. I was just like, "Holy shit!" Like, it was the craziest thing I had ever seen in a movie.
They really went all out with those effects.
Yeah.
What was that? 5 million of the 6 million budget?
Well, and funny enough, that's another thing. There's a moment in the original Dawn of the Dead where that dude's shirt gets ripped open, and then they kind of cut away to some other people getting eaten, and then it cuts back to that guy, and they go into his stomach and start pulling all his insides out.
But that wasn't the same though.
It wasn't
bloody.
It wasn't as bloody or anything, but it was definitely kind of the same thing where when David got yanked out, his shirt got ripped open, and then they went into him.
Yeah.
Like, I have to imagine that was at least somewhat referencing that or inspired by that. I mean, they called it Shaun of the Dead. I'm sure they... And there's a lot of moments. There's like I said, there's a particular song from the original Dawn of the Dead's soundtrack that ended up being like a big part of the underlying score for Shaun of the Dead, so... Yeah, this movie ripped.
Yep.
Yeah, literally.
But any more comments, thoughts, ideas on this one before we move forward?
No, sir.
No.
All right, so do we want to talk about... Oh, God damn it, Sam.
Well, you want to spend a lot of time on Suspiria, and we can just absolutely blow through Fright Night, because I really don't care.
Let's do Fright Night first, and then while you guys talk about the remake, I can go get food.
Damn it, Sam!
Sam, why don't you get food? Why don't you get food after the stream on your way to fucking karaoke?
Guess I could do that.
I guess I could do that.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Alright, so I guess Suspiria?
Or
do you want to blast through Fright Night?
we can blast through Fright Night and then just spend most of our time on Suspiria.
Well, I guess that works for me too, because honestly, like, I thought these movies were all right.
What? Man, they were the running zombie of the movies for you, huh?
I didn't hate them. I quite liked the remake.
Yeah, the remake's great.
The original, his buddy Ed really fucking
Evil.
killed the movie
Okay,
for
the
me.
fucking actor. I do not like him.
So,
Yeah,
are we
he
gonna-
killed the fucking movie for me.
Evil's my favorite part of the original.
What was that?
Yeah, dude, he's literally my profile picture on Skype.
They're like, dude, just act like if an alien was trying to be a person. Like, I've never seen anybody behave like that before, but they had this dude fucking acting wild.
Yeah, it's like someone's controlling him from inside his brain. Like, his brain is just like a console, and he's a meat suit. And they're like, "That was funny. Initiate laughter."
Man, oh, that hurt. That hurts a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Oh shit.
But I did like in the remake that character was played by McLovin.
Yeah, yeah, he hates people.
So I did
Now,
watch the trailers. I do know. I did that.
Anton Yelchin,
like,
dude. Oh. But no, I just don't. Now I don't even know where to go from here.
Can we talk about like the beginning of the original?
What about it?
When he's just so he sees the girl in the window, right?
Yeah.
And then after the close of the shade, and he sees the guy taking the body out back, he just runs out. He's just hiding behind a bush. And you can just clearly see him.
Yeah.
Nah.
And then and then what's his name? Jerry just like throws his apple at him. But also not at him. He just kind of tosses it in front of him for some reason.
Before that, his mom comes out and is like, Charlie, where are you?"
Also, I was like, I was looking at Amy in the original. Like, where do I know her from? She was one of their neighbors in Married with Children.
Oh.
She was one of the neighbors. I was like, I knew she looked familiar. Also, the Amy in the remake is way hotter.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, damn, dude, what'd you expect? But no, hold on.
I also think Colin Farrell is hotter than the dude who played the vampire in the original.
Prince Humperdinck?
Whatever his fucking name is. I thought Colin Farrell did a better job.
Sarandon. Fuck.
Yeah, I liked.
I think the remake dressed him better, like more like a vampire.
Well, that and he acted more intimidating, I guess. I don't know. I really liked Colin Farrell in the remake.
So I will say, like I said, I only watched the trailer for the remake, but it seems like I kind of treated the original Fright Night as like a comedy.
It's definitely way more of a comedy.
I was making jokes throughout the whole movie.
I thought the effects were pretty cool, and there's
yeah, definitely.
Amy's face when she turns into the monster near the end. That was actually kind of fucking terrifying looking.
Well, that's the original like poster. Is like that. Face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also when Billy Cole like disintegrated, that reminded me of Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
That gave me Evil Dead vibes.
That was what I was thinking with like the kind of like stop motion claymation type shit,
Yeah.
and the like melting skin. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You said what?
So in the end of the original Fright Night, whenever Jerry's like burning and shit, that prop, like the skeleton, is reused from Ghostbusters.
Is it?
If I'm not mistaken, it's like the same skeleton. I don't know if it's. I want to say it was reused or it was one that they scrapped, but it was from Ghostbusters. And I think it was like the original skeleton that they were using for the librarian when she like went morph, like she morphed into like way more of a like a terrifying monster.
She morphed.
But yeah.
Like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger.
Yeah, it's Morbin time.
Morbin time.
Oh man, we should just watch Morbius.
It's
It
free
is
on Netflix.
So, I did enjoy aspects of the original. I mean, I love a good 80s movie, so
Yeah.
the soundtrack, I did like the new wave, clearly like deep 80s, like 80s deep cuts. I've never heard these songs before, but
I mean,
I was
every time
vibing to them.
The soundtrack came on, it really fit the scene. Just
Yeah.
the lyrics, it was like literally the scene.
Yeah.
My neighbor's a vampire and he's turning
Yeah.
my girlfriend.
And then when they're running from the club, there's like, running for your life. The monster in the
Yeah, like no, that's the thing is like, I definitely, like you said, Sam. I treat this movie like a comedy movie more than anything.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I love it.
It did have its moments. I did jump at one part. Like I knew it was gonna happen, but I still jumped at it. When the vampire appeared behind Evil in the alley.
Oh, that's a good scene, man.
Yeah.
There was
I feel worse for Evil in the original than I do in the remake.
I don't.
well,
You don't?
Sucks.
No,
Well-
I didn't feel as much sympathy for him in the new one as I did in the old one.
I don't know how you felt any sympathy for him in the old one.
Like,
He
when
was
he's getting
literally
attacked, it actually kind of like it was hard. It
Okay,
was
yeah,
kind of
he's
sad.
horrified, but then he's
But like in the
I-
new
Hey,
one,
bro,
he
let me
was
turn
just
you into
kind of
a
like, I'll
vampire.
blackmail you, bro.
Yeah, but he was also like, I mean, let's be real. Charlie was kind of being a dick because it's like his two childhood friends.
I agree.
One of them needs his help to find the other one, and he basically blows him off. Is half interested and then leaves, and he ends up getting fucking turned. Like, I felt bad for him up until he shows up later trying to kill Charlie, and then there's like no redemption for him. But before that, I was like, Charlie's kind of a prick in this one compared to the original. Like, he was a lot more interested in being with the popular kids. He wanted to hang out with Dave Franco, and
He just wanted to.
James
wanted
Franco.
to sleep with his girlfriend.
no, James Franco's little brother, Dave Franco. He's in the movie.
But James Franco did design the prison in Colin Farrell's basement for this movie.
Did he?
No.
That was the thing though. That you're talking about moments that made you jump. The moment when Charlie's trying to help that go-go dancer girl that's like his neighbor escape the house, and then like you see him get to the door, and then it pans around and Colin Farrell's just kind of leaning against the wall watching them leave, and the second she hits the sunlight she just fucking bursts into flames. I jumped so hard at that. I was like, holy fuck. That was really the only moment that made me jump out of either of them, but I was like, oh damn. And I liked the remake because it was a little more intense in moments. It was a little more on the edge of your seat, and then I thought the way that they beat him in the end was a lot more badass.
Well, I mean, how are you gonna pull? It would have been harder to pull that off.
He was literally like, how are you supposed to set him on fire and get close to him? Oh, I got an idea. I light myself on fire and then I hug him. I just have to have a fireproof suit on. Like, that's fucking sick.
I love David Tennant as Peter.
Yeah.
In the new one.
Yeah,
That was such a cool thing because I'm a huge fan of him. But seeing him there and I liked him being older in the first movie. It was cool, but seeing him as kind of like more middle aged, and the way they tied him into Jerry.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
And the fact that they actually have a history.
Yeah, because he was the one that murdered his parents when he was a kid. He's like, wow, look at you, buddy.
Yeah, I liked him in this one versus the original version. So,
What'd you think about Ed turning into a werewolf?
he didn't do that in the new one.
No, he did not. He
But-
just died.
He did do it. I don't know how I feel about it because that doesn't really make sense to me.
I mean, they could shapeshift, and it just Dude, I'm such a simp for werewolves and like and werewolves that are done practically. So it
I
was
guess
just
I
really
won't
cool to
say
see.
I can't say werewolf. He turned into a wolf.
Yeah, so when he got stabbed, he like does that weird morph, to where he's like kind of turning back.
Yeah, but it's still he's like just half human, half wolf form. I can't call him a straight up werewolf because he's still a vampire.
I think he's still a vampire.
And they're
because
mortal enemies.
Earlier in the movie, Vincent, I think this is in one of his like shows or commercials. No, he says like I've defeated them in all their forms: wolves, bats, man.
Mm-hmm.
So like he includes wolves as one of their forms.
Yeah, like they can definitely morph into wolves, but like whenever he gets stabbed, it's like when he's changing back, he just looks like a werewolf.
Well, I
cool.
did like the effects in the original.
Yeah.
Like they were definitely cool practical effects. But yeah. I don't know. I definitely prefer the remake over the original for this one.
It's fair, but sorry.
Plus, like you said, R.I.P. Anton Yelkin.
Yeah, dude. You should watch Odd Thomas if you haven't seen it. It's probably my favorite movie of his.
I may have seen it a while ago because it sounds
good.
familiar, but
well, it's also a book series by Dean Koontz.
What was he in? He was in the Star Trek series. He was in what was like the first thing I fucking saw? Oh, Green Room. He was fucking awesome. That was
his last movie, I think.
Yeah,
actually.
he was fucking awesome in Green Room.
That movie, dude, you told me to watch that. Went home that night, did it, and it fucked me up.
Well, I love how that always cracks me up. I'm like, you came back to work, you're like, dude, What We Do in the Shadows was fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. What other movies can you recommend me? And so I was like, okay, go home, watch Inglourious Bastards and Green Room. And then it wasn't until I went back to my hotel room later that night, I'm like, I just told this man to go home and watch 2 movies about Nazis. And that was completely by... I did not...
You also told me to watch Borat that night.
Oh, did I?
I gave you like 3 movies, and I came back, and you're like, you watched all of this? Because like, they were both like 2 hours long. Well, fucking Inglourious Bastards is almost like 3 hours long. Borat was like, okay. I wasn't highly impressed with it, but...
I kind of forgot I said to watch that.
Yeah, like 2 movies about Nazis.
Very nice.
So good, dude. Green Room haunted me for a while.
He was Charlie Bartlett, which I forgot about that movie. He's like this kid selling Adderall to people, and then Robert Downey Jr. is like the principal.
Ironic, he's stopping drugs. Sorry.
But yeah, he was great when he was alive, and then he had a really fucked up death.
Yeah, there's some odd shit going on.
Sam, do you know how he died?
No.
So
it's sus.
So yeah, it is kind of sus because literally the story is that his driveway was like on a hill, like his house was on a hill. So when he parked, he's kind of like slanted upward, and he parks, he gets out of his car, he walks down to his mailbox, which I think is made of stone. He's getting his mail, and as he's getting his mail, his car fucking backs up and pins him against his mailbox, and it kills him.
Wow.
And it's just damn.
Why is that sus?
It's just, that's... How?
I mean, my only thought is he didn't put the parking brake in. Either that or the brakes failed.
Your car, man?
That is the other thing. My only thought is, was he under the influence of anything when it happened? Do you know?
I don't know. Well, he lived to be, what was it, 27? And like that was like the big thing, because isn't it like the whole... Yeah, he lived to be 27.
The 27 club.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like another thing of why people like, whenever he died, they're like, okay, come on.
But yeah, definitely enjoyed the remake on this one. Kind of disappointed you didn't watch it, Sam, but it's all right. We did have a number of movies to watch on this.
Did my best.
We had 6 movies. It was a good bit.
But yeah, anything else you guys wanted to bring up with these? I did like that line where Ed says, you know, he's not Dracula, he's not this, he's not that. He is
Scary.
we're talking about right now we're talking about Fright Night. But yeah, he when Ed says, you know, he's not Dracula, he's not this, he's not, I can't remember what he says, but he's like, he's the fucking shark from Jaws. He eats until everyone around him is dead. That's it. And then even throughout the movie, he gets like these black eyes where his pupils dilate huge like a fucking shark. His eyes look like a shark. Like, it's just, yeah, I really liked Colin Farrell in this one.
It was good. He was good, yeah. Man. But yeah, you know.
All right. So I don't think we have anything else to say on Fright Night though.
No.
Yeah, I think we're good.
No, we wanted to get to that one quickly.
Sam,
Yep.
what did you think of Suspiria?
Which one?
What?
Either of them.
Okay, I'll start with the remake. I loved the lighting and visuals.
Of the remake?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
the original.
Wait.
Hold on.
What?
What?
This is the original. The lighting and visuals were the main thing I focused on in that movie.
Yeah.
I really liked them.
Okay, for the original.
Yes.
I thought you were saying for the remake.
I was
it's for the original.
I was like, the remake, it's like, hold on, what you just said is backwards here.
No, for the original, I loved the lighting and the visuals. Soundtrack was also great. The story was a little confusing. It seems like not a lot happened in an hour and a half.
Well, it's
And then it's over.
it is a very basic plot. It's definitely on rewatch you pick up a little bit more. But it is very much, that movie is about the visuals and the soundscape of the movie. That's why I think I described it a little bit in the car. It's kind of like an assault on the senses because the soundtrack is so loud and like it hits you from like the very beginning of the movie. Like, I love how the movie opens up with that song and it's like, Susie Bannion wanted to perfect her dancing skills, so she went to the academy in Italy, and then it opens up on the airport and she's walking to the doors, and when they open up there's the storm with the music playing, and then when they close the music stops.
Mm-hmm.
And then
as she
when she
as she's going out the door, also I noticed it looked like the scarf kind of like wrapped around her and grabbed her. I don't know if that was intentional, but
I
cool.
I haven't noticed that. I'm just always so focused on the fact that, yeah, when she walks out, the music just kind of hits you, and the storm, like everything about that is just fucking And then like when she finally gets to the school and Pat runs out and then she's running away, and then it cuts to her running through the woods and the music is just still going and it's super fucking loud. And yeah, I mean, it's very much an assault on the senses. There are moments of like slowing down, like when Susie finally gets into the school and meets the professors and then goes to her lodging situation, but then yeah, it slowly builds back up, and then it's just a really trippy movie.
Yeah.
But I just love everything about it. And I will agree, the story can be a little, one, confusing at times, and two, I mean, once you really understand what you're seeing and what's happening and you've watched it a couple times, so you know like what the characters are saying, you're right, there's not a whole lot that happens. It's more about the slow unraveling of the mystery, and that's where like the big reveal is that it's witches. And then she kills the fucking mother witch, the founder of the school. who's actually been there the whole time, even though they were saying that she wasn't. She's been staying there and kind of pulling the strings on the events, and she's actually also the one that showed up and killed Pat at that apartment complex at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, so that's kind of it's pretty simple. Girl goes to school. School's filled with witches. They try to kill her after drugging her for days and days and days. And then she fucking kills the mother, cutting off the head of the snake, killing all the witches, and then gets the hell out of there. Burns the school down at the very end on accident. And it's just like, hell yeah. And then you have
Basic stuff.
the remake.
It's like an entirely different story.
It is the same story.
That's true, but it's
But
an entirely different take on the story.
It is way more muted in color. It's lots of grays, dark browns, reds, blacks, things like that. And then the story is very upfront about the fact that it's witches.
I didn't like that.
And instead of it being a mystery about what's happening at the school in terms of like what's causing all of this, it's more about the lore behind the witches and what they're doing with running that school, and the fact that they're actually looking for a new host for this woman that they have declared to be the mother of their coven of witches. And she claims, her name is Mother Marcos, and she claims to be anointed such by Mother Suspiriorum. And so they're looking for, like this coven is even taking a vote because they're kind of in the middle of a upset of power, and it's between Mother Marcos or I'm blanking, Madame Blanc. So you have these two kind of this fractured group of witches, and they're trying to find a proper vessel for Mother Marcos to take over so that she can have a beautiful body again, and she can go back to dancing and being art, because she even says this isn't art when you finally see Mother Marcos in all her glory, and she's like all gross and shit, and
yeah, she has an arm hanging off of her arm.
Yeah, and then you realize that they fucked up, and that Susie Banyan is actually a fucking smear on the earth, as her mom put it, her sin. She's actually Mother Suspiriorum.
Was she like a reincarnation?
I think so.
Suspiriorum?
I think so. But she is Mother Suspiriorum. So the second she's like, who anointed you? And she's like, Mother Suspiriorum. She's like, yeah, no, I am she. I did not anoint you. And then she fucking, that demon thing gives her the kiss of death, and then
apparently she summoned death.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And
supposed to be.
And I fucking, dude, when I first saw that, my fucking jaw hit the floor. The second she just started, anyone who voted for Mother Marcos just fucking exploded. And then you have all the girls still dancing around in this fucking crazy trance, and the
end of this fucking movie was fucking wild.
The visuals get all fucking hazy, and then you have Thomas York, who did the whole score.
Tom York, yeah, it's fucking amazing.
The lead of Radiohead doing all the music for the movie, and you have this slow kind of like melancholy, kind of psychedelic song playing in the background as all these girls are spinning, and then Mother Suspiriorum goes and grants the girls who have suffered at the hand of Mother Marcos one wish, and they all wish for death. But yeah, I love the decision to go way more in depth with the lore of the witches, as opposed to keeping it kind of mysterious about what they are at all. Because I think it does make for a more interesting remake. Because anyone who's most of the people who watched the remake of Suspiria have seen the original. This wasn't like a movie where it was like, oh, you gotta go check out this crazy new horror film, Suspiria. It was awesome. I guess it's a remake. Like, nah, the audience was definitely for the people who love Suspiria. And so yeah, I mean, it's like, why make it like a lot of people already know this is a movie about witches, so why not lean into understanding the witches and their coven more? And most of the lore in this remake is actually built off of, because Suspiria is the first in a trilogy of movies Dario Argento did. It was also Inferno, and there's another one, but the other two they built on the lore. So from my understanding, the lore that's used in the remake for Suspiria, a lot of it is kind of taken from the understanding of those sequels, which, as far as I understand, those sequels weren't nearly as good as Suspiria. But yeah, so I love both of these, and I kind of flip back and forth because it's like the original. I love the visuals so goddamn much, and the soundtrack is so fucking good, and then the world building and the lore and the soundtrack for the remake and the fucking batshit ending. I just love both so
Can we
much,
talk about the witness?
dude.
Just that old guy.
So you know
Holy
what's
shit.
fucking cool? Tilda Swinton plays 3 different characters in this movie.
That was Miss Blanc, right?
So she plays Miss Blanc, she plays Mother Marcos, and she plays that old man. And if you watch the credits, the old man, the actor is a different name. I don't remember what the name is, but they actually went so far as for press junkets have her show up in the or I don't know that they had her show up as him, but they would talk about the movie as if he was a real guy that just couldn't show up to the event. And so they did not reveal that that was Tilda Swinton until after the movie had come out, and then they were like, "Yeah, that's her."
Yeah, because I was watching on Amazon, right? You know how they have those like pop up, you can see who the actor played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through that and I saw her credited for that. I was like,
See, I didn't know until after I had seen the movie. And then I have to think that I actually thought about while I was watching it for this, but Mia Goth is in this as well. And I have to assume she took inspiration from Tilda Swinton doing that when she decided to play both the lead, I can't remember what her name was in X, and then also play the old woman Pearl.
Yeah.
She's doing both in that movie, and I have to assume part of that was inspired by watching Tilda Swinton work on the set of Suspiria. And Mia Goth is fucking awesome. I love the cast. I mean, I don't really know. I couldn't tell you the name of anybody from the original outside of the girl who plays Susie. And even that, I'm kind of blanking on her name right now. Jessica Harper. So Jessica Harper's the only name that I know from the original. But the cast for the remake is fucking popping. You got Mia Goth. You got Chloe Grace Moretz. Tilda Swinton. You have, what's her name? Dakota Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the cast is filled with great fucking actors. And then Jessica Harper actually shows up in the remake briefly as the old man's wife when they make
Anka?
that
Was
whole
her name?
yeah,
when they make that whole illusion just to fucking catch him, just to kind of like lead him to the school so they can bring him in to be the witness. Which that's so fucking when he's standing there and then he's just looking around and she's gone, and then you just hear that witch scream as she's running at him. That shit made me jump the first time I watched it.
Also, she did appear when Sarah was talking to the doctor at that cafe, and she left, and she saw Miss Tanner. Once the bus passed, Miss Tanner turned into Anka. I think
Did
also.
she?
I think so.
I don't think so. I think she just turned into a random person. Because why would she turn into Anka? That doesn't mean anything to Sarah.
Maybe they just didn't want to find another actor.
No, they saved that because that's Jessica Harper. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's the original Susie Bannion. The
Also, I
one
think,
that's not Mother Suspirium.
I think there were some hints that Susie was the witch at the beginning.
Oh no, yeah.
There's the one scene with the one thing I only remember is with the scene with the cops.
When they're kind of fucking with them in the
Yeah,
office.
and she just laughs and leaves.
Yeah, yep, yeah,
And
no.
she's unfazed by it.
Yeah, she's so that there's I've seen the remake like 3 or 4 times now. And it is funny how many things like that's the most blatant one I feel like, but there are little things throughout the movie that like when you look at it after knowing you're like it was almost like in front of your face the whole fucking time. And I mean it obviously like even when you don't know, she does act more bizarre as time goes on to where by the end she's like ready to have whatever this basically to sacrifice her body for this witch coven that she's not a part of. Like it's like why is she doing this? Why is she so into this? But there are little things even from the very beginning that do hint at that. It's such a fucking cool remake.
Hmm. I really liked it. It was
It's
such
I
a
need
fun
to
movie.
watch it.
Okay, not a fun movie because there's it's a very
Really fun.
good.
Had funny moments in it.
I
Olga really cracked me up.
oh the original I love that scene when Olga's like S is the or names that begin with the letter S are the names of snakes. And then they have like that little back and forth and Susie's just sitting in the middle of it.
She's a snake.
Yeah.
Hey guys, remember that scene in the original where Sarah falls on the razor wire?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That shit's
That
so...
fucked me up.
So that's one thing. Like I said, you're talking about how like like the remake was for people who've seen it. I remember when I first watched the movie, Devin, because obviously you put me onto this, and it was the very beginning of it, and I had no fucking clue what this movie was about. Because like that first, like when the girl who's like running away and like she's
Pat.
getting killed, huh?
Her name's Pat.
Yeah, thank you.
Trisha. Yeah.
Hey, you know what, Sam?
Because she's played by Chloe Grace Moretz in the remake.
That's cool. But
You get you get a lot more story on her in the remake.
yeah. Anyway.
So sorry, proceed. Bro, I got the Suspiria shirt on, bro. I'm fucking ready.
It's been a long, dude. It's been a long couple weeks. I'm fucking worn out. But she's getting fucking murdered in the original one, and like you see the hand like kind of bust her and like stab her in the first one, like the window or whatever, and it just covered in hair. And I remember texting you immediately. I was like, "What the fuck are they supposed to be?" I was like, "Are they werewolves? Like, what is this?" And you were like, "Just wait." And then they're like swarming the piano player who would like come in and he was like blind with his dog, and I'm like, I could not figure it out for the life of me. And it genuinely came down to like it was just like they literally had to say the word witch, and I'm like, oh, they're witches. I was like, okay,
Susie,
that makes sense.
Susie, what do you know about witches?
I was like, I think they're witches, you guys. No, that's that's one reason I love the original, just because I love not knowing what they were when I first saw it. It made it so much more. I focused on it a lot more because of that.
Well, and I love so there were trailers or ads for this movie back when it was coming out in theaters where it was like the only thing more terrifying than the first 74 minutes of this film are the last 15. And then it would show like a brief shot of Sarah coming out of the like coffin in the wall with the knife.
Yeah.
She looks, even today, by today's standards, she looks fucking terrifying when that happens. And I love that shit.
So again, explain to me, why were they keeping those, like, the girls, like Olga and everybody? Why were they keeping them alive?
I think it was part of the ritual.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you exactly why, but it appears to me that they were needed for the ritual.
Yeah,
She
at
really
least-
got it worse, right?
At least what we saw. From
Dude, when they're like snapping her fucking limbs
Oh
in
my,
that
that was
room.
what, 10-minute long scene roughly.
Yeah.
That was so hard to watch.
When she fucking something happens to her and she just like pisses herself.
Yeah,
I was like,
Oh my
Jesus.
it was hard. But good scene. Because I wasn't sure about the movie at first, and then that happened, and I was like, I was like, nice. Like, this is really cool. Good shit. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, God, I don't even know what else to say. I definitely I couldn't pick between the original or the remake which one I think is better, because I think they're both
Remake.
so strong in different areas, but they're both so fucking good. This is one of those ones where I even went into it when I hadn't seen the remake. I held off on watching it for so long because I was like, there's no way it's going to be that good. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh, fuck. This is cool.
It is that good.
I like the fact that you're able to do a remake and just expand on the lore and not try to emulate the first one. And that's why I do like the visual style of the remake, because it's so different from the original and it's intentional to separate it from
Yeah,
the
so they just
original.
did like a polar opposite.
Yeah. I think it works so well.
I do have one question. Okay, so you know in the remake, the witch with the glasses. What was her deal?
Oh, when she fucking kills herself?
Uh-huh.
So I'm pretty sure she had the foresight, because if you rewatch it, you'll see she is constantly staring at Susie. Anytime she sees her, she
I did
can't
notice
take
that.
her eyes off of her. I'm pretty sure she could see right through to what she really was. That was like the second she saw her, she's like, holy shit, that's Mother Suspirium.
And I'm guessing
And
she voted Marcos.
She did not want to be a part of any of that. That's my interpretation on it. I've actually looked into this a little bit. There's two interpretations on it. That's the one that I got when I first watched it. But there's also the idea that I think it was, and this is kind of fueled by that, but it's that she knew that they were going to have to pay for what they had been doing. Like, she felt bad about the fact they were like basically murdering these girls, or like putting them through hell and sacrificing them in a sense for Mother Marcos. And she felt bad about it. And then she knew that now Mother Suspiriorum, the real one, is there. They're going to have to fucking pay for it. And she did not want anything to do with that. So yeah, she was just, she took her own self out instead of getting exploded, turned into fucking jelly paint.
Honestly, it might have been quicker to just get exploded.
I was gonna say, I feel like that was a quicker death, yeah, by far. Like, plus, how many people get to say they literally kissed death, right?
Well, not all of them did kiss death.
I know, but
Someone's
like,
gonna-
you get the chance. Maybe that's why she's like, well, if I don't get to at least mac on the man, like, I'm just gonna off myself. What'd you think
Actually,
about, like,
if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to rewatch it to double check, but I'm pretty sure she abstains from voting too.
No, that was Miss Blanc.
Was it? I thought she also abstained.
I think that was Miss Blanc.
well,
There's only one.
because there was one person who tried to, right? And they were like, you have to vote, and was that her?
Well, I think they called on her, and she didn't say anything,
Oh,
and then they made her vote.
interesting.
I
That's
can't
right.
remember who she voted for, but it was probably Marcos.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she wanted the fuck out of there before shit got real.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. That was another moment that shocked the shit out of me when I first watched the original. The second she stabs herself in the neck, I'm just like, what the fuck?
It shocked those fuckers too.
And then that scene when Sarah's like running around, instead of her falling into razor wire, there's just holes
Holes?
opening up in the
You see
hallway.
them in the
Yeah,
shadows,
they're like opening up, and then
Her fucking whole leg just like
she had a compound
snaps,
fracture.
and then they fucking like just cover it up and then send her out to dance.
Yeah, I was wondering, they didn't fully heal her, right? They
No,
just,
because
like,
when you see that we're up there, like hand
Yeah,
over
there's
her
still the
leg, you can
bruise.
still see it's broken. Like, yeah, but they just healed the.
It's
flesh
just
part.
moving, yeah, under the flesh.
yeah,
and then
they
they
just set it. And
they
then,
put her under a trance. I don't even know if they said it. I think their
Nah.
I think their plan was to make it look like she broke her leg during the dance. The problem is that they didn't get to finish the dance. I'm still a little hazy on what exactly the purpose of that dance was, because there's a conversation afterwards between Susie and Blanc that makes it seem like Susie somehow threw shit off and knocked Sarah out of the trance and ruined the performance.
yeah,
and-
and 5 minutes later, we know that's on purpose.
And for some reason it was she's like, did I hurt any of those people? And then Blanc's like, no, as far as they're concerned, they just watched a performance.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so there was something that they were intending to have happen there that didn't happen, so now it's gonna happen in the basement. And yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, dude, fucking Suspiria, bro.
What'd you think about the weapons they had? Do you like those?
The meat hooks.
The ribs. Yeah.
They were like metal rib cage
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah, because they were supposed to be like, it was like referencing like Adam and how like in the Bible, like a woman was made from the rib of Adam. So then they were using like silver ribs.
I didn't even think
I just
about
thought they were
that.
meat hooks.
I was reading more into it and it brought it up, and that was like the whole purpose behind it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
It was really cool. I was like, oh damn, like I like that, because I'm like, without reading it, I would never have picked up on like that was what it was supposed to be, obviously.
right.
But yeah. Oh. Man.
What are you watching? Something?
I was about to, but I have to have a trial, and I don't want a fucking trial.
Bro, you know we're in the middle of a show here.
Yeah, you know, I like having stuff on in the background because I'm actually like special.
At least you're not like my old roommate Zave. He would literally just like watch TV shows and movies while he was driving. He just like put something on his phone on the dashboard. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
I tried to do that once and was like, nah, like this is a little too. Because like I wanted to like just hear like the audio from that episode or something. So I'm like, I know what's happening, but then I found myself watching it. I'm like,
Yeah,
this is too risky.
he would do that a lot. I think he was doing it more for the audio, but yeah, he would like put on Star Trek and start driving around.
Why would that? Out of everything you could watch while driving.
Dude, he's the reason I like
I
Star
know,
Trek.
But like, do something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to touch on with Suspiria. Sam, Beck, do either of you have any more questions about it? I might be able to
can't-
help answer.
I don't remember anything now. There was something I wanted to ask. I don't remember at this point.
I think I got all mine cleared up. Yeah.
Yeah,
As for a rating, I'd say I probably like the remake more, but I still like the original.
yeah,
I think the first three letters are my favorite part.
sus.
Mhm.
Let me tell you something. What did you guys watch the original Suspiria on?
Tubi.
On Tubi?
That's where I watched it like the very first time I ever saw it. That or like Voodoo maybe, but I think it was Tubi.
I watched it on fucking 4K, fucking ultra high definition Blu-ray over here. Let me tell you
That's
something.
crazy, bro.
If you can find this, get it. I paid like $40 for this.
Ugh.
Worth every fucking penny. Because I love this movie.
No,
And
that's fair. But
it looks so good in high definition. And then I also have the remake because I love both of these movies so much. I wanted to own physical copies of both. Because like you, Beck, I do appreciate physical copies of media still.
yeah, VHS is going nowhere, baby.
I don't know about that, but
I still have a ton of VHS.
Yeah,
so.
it's going nowhere.
I would love.
It ain't going anywhere.
I would love to get like a set. I honestly would love to have like a VHS, like a VCR. I'd love a VCR, a Nintendo 64, and then one of those little TVs.
Still got one. Man, you're just living. You just want to be me, apparently.
I want to have a little 90s corner.
Hey, Devin, I'm gonna send you something, and I think you'd actually be. It's $40, but like I think you'll go just crazy over this.
Is it a Susie Banyan action figure
What do you mean by action figure?
or a statue?
No.
Oh. What do you mean? What do you mean by action figure?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I sent it in the Skype chat.
Oh, it's a link.
Yeah.
It's a link.
This is a Japanese version.
Oh shit!
No, like I love having VHSs because I love going back and watching stuff like this in the way it was like originally just released. It's weird, you know, but I'll enjoy it.
Have you ever heard of Katie Video?
No.
If you type it in on Instagram, it's KADI Video. All she does is she takes stuff and reformats it onto VHS, and she'll do like really badass
I've seen
covers.
Actually, no, I've seen like pieces of or like her artwork or like the box.
Yeah.
It's like she was actually turning them into a VHS.
Yeah. She put all of Stranger Things so far on VHS.
Oh, that'd be pog.
She's done all kinds of different movies. But yeah, a lot of horror and stuff. A lot of like newer horror films and stuff. Like I think she did Hereditary and Midsummer. She put on VHS.
Ooh, I don't know about that one.
Some of the other ones. But yeah, she's really cool, and she's got like a podcast she does now and stuff.
Probably better than us.
But she had. I just saw she had like an actress from Fear Street.
I loved those movies.
So yeah, she's definitely doing
Can't
better
wait
than
for the new
us.
ones. Yeah.
But
We can't even get Corey on here full time.
oh. Hey man, the people that we do have on here are like half interested sometimes. So
Hey, listen, man.
I'm looking at you, Sam.
Oh my god.
No, I feel like there's I'm gonna regret not bringing something up about Suspiria, because I've wanted to talk about this movie for so long. I'm just trying to rack my brain for any other.
Yeah, take a second.
Tidbits.
We can stall.
Beck,
right?
have you seen what is it?
No.
Profondo Russo
No.
or Deep Red in English?
No, I actually I was looking through his video, like his videography or like his movies. I saw Deep Red. Looks interesting. I want to watch more of his stuff.
Yeah, oh, I forgot to bring up. So, another thing that really fucking threw me through a loop when watching Dawn of the Dead was the fact that Dario Argento was a fucking script supervisor, and he, of course, the Argento cut, he had a hand in the making of the fucking movie, and he's also why Goblin got involved with Dawn of the Dead. Like, and the second I saw those two names, again, I fucking started freaking out, because I love Suspiria so much. I'm like, oh, this is about to fucking go off.
Do you also love Goblin?
God damn it.
Man, I've been staring at this like weird ass coffee table for like the last 2 hours, and my eyes burn. Why are we on the wrong side of the counter?
What?
This fucking background on Skype. We're on the wrong side of the counter.
I don't have the background on it.
Yeah, I don't
It has
either.
been on this entire time. I've been afraid to change it in case it might mess up the camera. Or
No,
something.
yeah, we're on grid view, bro.
My God, take me back. The entire time. Oh, this would have been so much more enjoyable.
I was wondering. I was like, a coffee table in your room?
Yeah, I was like, what is this dude on?
Nothing.
Man, I know the second we get off here, I'm gonna be like, fuck, why didn't I think of that?
Well, what are you gonna think of when we get off?
Suspiria, probably.
Never mind. I was just trying to help you. Just trying to help you, man.
Oh, so Sam,
You want to talk about what we're gonna do for next week, maybe?
I was about to bring that up. So, definitely A24 horror.
Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah.
What? I don't like the way you said that. Very sensual. Like, oh, fuck yeah.
Now, Sam, are you off again next Tuesday? Do you know?
I have no idea, but I'm working tomorrow through Monday. It's like 6 days in a row, so I might be.
All right, we're just gonna say it's next Tuesday. A24 horror. What do you guys got?
Oh,
What y'all
I'm stuck-
picking?
I really
Strange
want
things
to
about
choose.
the Johnsons.
That's not A24, unfortunately. We'll bring if either
I'd
Midsummer
be down
or
to watch it just to talk about it.
if
you want.
if Midsummer, please do, please do.
Great family movie.
In fact, when you get off tonight, just throw that on. It's like 30 minutes. It's on YouTube, and it's Ari Aster's first film.
If it's on YouTube, just stream it for me, baby.
And,
Let's just do a reaction with it.
I could totally set that up.
I would be so get Corey on for that too.
Well, he's seen it.
Damn it!
I made pot roast. I made a big ass pot roast, and I had Sam, Corey, and Natalie come over, and we watched some movies. We watched Strange Thing About the Johnsons, and I think then Eric showed up, and we watched The Sound of Metal.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Corey was not into The Strange Thing About the Johnsons at all. I think that was the first time Natalie had seen it as well. I think that was when
I'm
we.
not sure.
I think it was you and me, Sam. We're like, we're gonna get Corey and Natalie to come over, and we're gonna show them Strange Thing About the Johnsons. And Natalie's just like looking at it like, what did you guys have me watching here? And Corey's just like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck is this? This is disgusting. Like, I don't want to watch this.
Hey, spoilers.
But yeah, so if either Midsummer or Hereditary get picked, that's a lock. That's gonna come up in the discussion.
I mean, if no one else picks, I'd probably pick one of those. Yeah.
So is the Green Knight? It's not horror, is it?
No, it's fantasy.
Okay, so then I won't. Then I'll probably choose The Lighthouse.
You're gonna do The Lighthouse?
Love that movie.
I've been meaning to rewatch that one because I watched it once and I did not really get it.
So I got into that movie because I think it was Oni Plays. They did a game that was like slightly based off the movie, like the idea of it was a lighthouse. But the guy who made it, they designed it like a PlayStation 1 horror game, and it was so cool to me. And so then I found out it was based off the lighthouse, at least like in an abstract kind of way. And I was like, I gotta watch this.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I think the guy who did that movie, it's didn't he also do The Witch?
Yeah, because we've talked about that. Oh, I love that movie too.
And then I haven't seen his new one. I actually haven't seen The Witch. The Viking, or what is it?
Oh, the Northman.
The Northman. Yeah.
My buddy loved that movie, and he's not like he wasn't huge into like Nordic mythology or like Norse mythology, but he loved it, and he only spoke highly of it.
Yeah, I definitely I've been meaning to watch that. But yeah, I guess The Lighthouse is horror, so that works.
So it's at least like, what would you call it, like suspense or a thriller?
And then I think I'd either have to go. Hey, do me a favor. Do a quick Google search.
Already did.
for Under the Skin.
Under the Skin.
Is that horror? Is that defined as horror?
Oh, apparently
Sci-fi
Dr. Sleep
drama?
is A24.
Sci-fi drama. You said what, Sam?
Dr. Sleep is A24.
No, it's not.
I looked up A24 movies and it says under popular A24 movies it says Dr. Sleep.
Unless they have, I mean, it's not like the A24 logo pops up on the front or anything. Because under
Who
the
the fuck came up with that name?
under
I'm
the
sorry.
what?
The Death of Dick Long.
Oh my god, dude!
No, but who came up with the name of that character?
Have you seen that movie?
No.
That's one of my favorite A24 movies. It's like a dirty Coen Brothers movie. Like it feels like a fucking like Fargo or something. Like it's fucking crazy because it basically starts off with these dudes partying, and then all of a sudden they're dropping their boy off at the hospital, and they just kind of drop him in the parking lot outside the hospital, and he dies in the hospital, and then it cuts to them. They are freaking the fuck out, and it's like the movie plays out with them trying to handle the situation and then figure out what the fuck to do, and they're just trying to keep it covered up, and slowly you learn what actually happened and what led to the dude's fatal injury. And it's a fucking great movie, and it's really funny too.
Didn't you want to do It Comes at Night, Devin?
I think I'm gonna do It Comes at Night.
Just like Dick Long.
But when we do, because I want to do just regular A24 movies, not horror, like any A24 movie that's not horror, I've thought about bringing up The Death of Dick Long, because that movie is fucking wild. And don't read too much on it, because it is based
you
on...
told me it anyway.
What'd I tell you?
The synopsis.
Well, okay. Don't look any more into it, because it is inspired by a true story.
Is it anything like West Virginia based? Because I know this happened in a lot of places, but like there's a huge thing that they have like made it a point because a kid like something like that very similar to that happened at WVU back in the day, and it's like everybody around the area knows about it.
I don't know. How did the guy die?
I'll wait. Hold on. I'll wait.
You'll wait?
I'll wait.
Just, if anything, that's just a fun movie to watch.
I just wanted to see, like, if he gave me the cause of death, and then I read the first word, and I know all about this story. The fucking Boeing. Ah!
Dude, it's when they reveal what happened, it's so fucking wild. Yeah, I love that movie so much. But yeah, I think I am gonna have to pick It Comes at Night. It's either that or Tusk.
Oh.
Or Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I did really like
should
Bodies,
do
Bodies, Bodies.
Tusk.
Yeah, Bodies was a great movie. It was so much fun.
You should do Tusk.
But I do, because I mean, we're each gonna pick one, and even if Corey joins the stream, it's not like he's seen any of these, so we could just talk about Tusk.
Make Corey watch Tusk.
We could just do that as the fourth movie.
I beg you.
Because I would love to talk about Tusk. Because it's funny, a lot of people talk shit about that movie, but I love that movie.
So what Corey's gonna do is he's gonna look up A24 movies and just start picking the action ones. Not
Yeah,
the horror
probably.
movies.
Well, that's why you don't let him do that. You tell
That's
him
why
what
we just
he's
pick a movie
choosing,
for him, like
right?
last week.
My only thought is he might like pick Uncut Gems and then argue, but it's the horrors of gambling.
I can vouch for that. Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Mhm.
Alright, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get food.
All right, hungry boy.
Yeah, definitely going. So we got It Comes at Night, Wait, Sam, the stream is almost over.
Okay. I'm
Sorry,
hungry.
Sam. I tried
I'm
to
hungry.
let you go. I
So
excuse you.
it comes at night. The Lighthouse. Sam, what are you picking?
Undecided yet, but probably either Hereditary or Midsummer.
Okay,
Probably Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
All right, so at least for now, it comes at night. The Lighthouse, most likely Hereditary, and then we'll do Tusk.
Yeah. Fucking
Sounds
love that movie.
sounds like a good round table discussion. I do kind of want to I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna add a fifth one.
Oh my god.
Bodies.
All right, yeah.
Well, because I would like to talk about that. Unless you don't want to do that many movies, because I know you got a pretty busy schedule, Beck.
I will get through as many as I can. If I don't, I would love to still hear about them.
Okay.
I will get through Lighthouse, Hereditary, Tusk, and It Comes at Night. I will try to get through Bodies.
Is that on any streaming yet, or is it still just in theaters?
What, Bodies?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can rent it. I don't know. Okay. Let me double check. Because it might be one of those situations where it's like $25 to rent on YouTube or some shit.
Jesus Christ.
In which case,
I know what I'm gonna watch it on.
yeah. Actually, maybe let's not do Bodies.
Now I want to.
I mean, we can. It's also a short movie. It's only an hour and a half.
It's just a movie.
You said
Yeah,
what?
you can only buy it for $20.
Oh bullshit! Hold on.
It is really funny though. Have you seen the trailer for it?
I saw it had Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I wouldn't say it's as beautiful looking or like artistically shot as some of the other movies.
Yeah.
But I also saw it, like, a lot of the movie takes place in a house where the power's out, so it's in the dark, and the fucking movie theater left the fucking lights on. So I couldn't see a lot of what was happening. So I do want to rewatch that movie. But yeah, it was, I enjoyed that quite a bit. So I would like to talk about it.
I would like to talk about my betrayal this weekend.
What's
So
that?
I was working, and my buddy texted me, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to go see Barbarian this weekend?"
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I'm like, I would love to, but I'm like, I'm gonna be in Somersville working." He's like, "Well, if it's still in theaters, we'll go next weekend, right?" Like, the oldest friend in the world, like, love him to death. He's my brother. I'm driving home when it's Sunday, and he goes, "Hey, have you seen Barbarian yet?" I was like, "No." I'm like, "We were gonna go see it next weekend." He was like, "Unexpected but great movie." I was like, "What the?" I'm like, "You fucking 5'4" little rat bastard."
You're dead to me.
I was like, he's like, "Well, if it's still in theaters next weekend, we can go see it." I'm like, "I'm not coming home now. I'm staying here."
Yeah, that movie is.
It was a great movie though.
Yeah, I know. That's what I've heard.
It was.
I'm just gonna go see it by myself, like everything else, because no.
I mean, there's one moment in particular where my jaw was on the floor.
I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go see that shit tomorrow. What's the showtime?
Which moment was it? Could you describe it without?
I can mute myself or deafen myself if you want. Or how about this? Hold on.
It was
still here.
It was the moment right before the movie cut to Justin Long's character.
Yeah. Yep, I got it.
You're good. You're good, Beck.
You good?
Yeah.
Go watch the movie right now. Actually.
Oh, funny.
I'm about to. I found it. I'm about to fucking watch it.
Funny enough, this isn't gonna spoil any of the movie.
don't believe it.
I guess it's the most vague of spoilers. It's literally not gonna really spoil anything. But so
Tell me.
Zach Kreger, from The Whitest Kids You Know, he wrote and directed this, and he went around shopping this movie to every production studio that's released a horror movie in the last 10 years. And one studio in particular he pitched it to, he really thought was going to take it, was A24.
Oh yeah.
Completely fucking ignored this one. They said they wanted
Damn.
nothing to do with it.
Is it just
So
weird or what? Like,
so it I don't
if you're able to tell me without.
that I don't know what their particular reasoning for, but he said that a lot of the other studios that they shopped it around to, they said that they weren't into the fact that the movie kind of,
Happens in one place.
well, no, there's a crazy jump
Okay.
in the middle of the script, almost like it goes to a different movie almost.
Ooh.
And it's like people were like, well, we don't like the fact that it basically like jumps into something so different, so just in your face, like just so like that. And also what it jumps to, the character is so unlikable and just
Oh my god, is that the fucking like clip in the trailer to where it goes from like dark to like just bright and colorful?
I'm not sure. I don't
Okay.
but it jumps to a character who is basically a piece of shit, and they were like, this, we don't like how this script jumps, and we don't like the character. We don't think anyone's going to want to follow this. And Zach Kreger said that he loved that part of the script in particular so much. He thought it was so ballsy to do, and it made the movie more interesting because of it. He was not going to back down on that. He wasn't going to cut it out of the script. So what happened was he kept shopping it around. It ended up getting picked up by 20th Century Fox. They did some foreign financing deals. It got picked up by 20th Century Fox. And then right after that, Disney bought 20th Century Fox. So Disney ended up distributing Barbarian. Barbarian is technically a Disney movie.
What are the show times?
It's fucking wild.
Sorry. The theaters near me do like, they'll do like the throwbacks, like they've done Lord of the Rings, but I think they're going to show the original Halloween and Trick or Treat, and they're doing Terrifier 2 at some point.
Dude, Trick or Treat's dope.
I love that movie.
But yeah, so enough. I don't want to go too much longer on Barbarian. So I do want to say any final comments or ideas, thoughts, anything on these originals versus remakes?
Yeah, running zombies are dumb.
Running zombies are dumb.
You want to do the ratings?
Oh, I'll give Suspiria like a solid 9 across the board. Scorsese's out of 10.
I give both of them 10s out of.
Yeah, I don't want to be
10.
that guy. You can always find something wrong.
I was mainly talking about like which one was your favorite of the three we
Oh.
watched. But
Oh, Fright Night, man. I'm a simp. I love that movie.
I'm going Suspiria.
yeah, I gotta go Suspiria.
But it's like I said, it's a close second. The original Dawn of the Dead jumped up above so many horror movies I've seen to be my second favorite.
Fucking phenomenal.
Second favorite horror film of all time. And I don't even care about, I know like a lot of people would probably be thrown off by the fact that the zombies basically just look like people with gray makeup on, and but it's just a product of the time, but it fucking works.
It does.
It works.
I think it's almost it's a little unnerving in some ways because it's like you can recognize people, like when it was Flyboy, right? Like you knew.
Yeah.
It's psychologically like way more.
Oh man,
disturbing.
I did want to talk about that. I
That
fucking
was so cool.
loved that
Are you talking about what I'm
scene
talking about? The
when he
scene where
comes out of the elevator as a zombie. Yeah, it's like, because you're like wondering if he's gonna make it, at least to the point, like I had seen the remake, so I thought he was kind of like the stand-in for Michael, so I was like, maybe he's gonna figure out a way to at least save him as his last act. And then when the elevator opens and he just shambles out, I was like, oh
And then he
fuck.
leads all the zombies to them.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he literally points.
Oh well,
And then he's banging on that wall where he knows the fake wall is.
And I love the fact that there's a zombie that pulls his Roger's assault rifle, or his M16 or whatever, through the door. And then at various points throughout the movie, you see the zombies still have the M16.
Okay, but I have one gripe about that. Because didn't they clear out all the zombies inside the mall?
But the bikers.
Wasn't that zombie one of the ones inside the mall?
Yeah, dude, don't question it too much. Cause then he switches. He ends up taking the other gun, and then he's like, "Oh, now I have this gun."
I have a gripe with that. How the fuck did they climb a ladder? I call bullshit on that. Not only did they climb they climbed a ladder to another ladder, and
bro, and
he never dropped the gun.
It's better. It's better than the fucking zombies in World War Z, literally forming like a mountain.
That somehow makes more sense to me because you're literally like, if they were dying, they could just like walk up. I just don't ladders, man. Really? Like.
Yeah, I don't know. That one threw me off a little bit too, but like Sam said, suspension of disbelief.
Nah.
Sometimes you just gotta do it.
It's like in fucking Don't Breathe when they shoot and he's at the top of the stairs and the bullet somehow just goes straight through her cheek.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, bullshit moment. I brought that up to my teacher. She's like, "You just need to stop analyzing movies like that." I'm like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's not, I'm like, it's not JFK. The bullet didn't stop and like go up. Also, there's a scene in the early beginning. I'm sorry, Sam, to keep you over, but one of the fucking like soldiers is shooting himself. But he literally has the gun right here, and he's like he would have just been in a lot more pain.
Oh, are you talking about during the raid?
Yeah, he just points the gun like this, and I'm like, "That's your cheek, my brother." Like,
I mean, it's still angled in.
Oh, listen, he needed to go up like behind the ear, like right up here.
I'm not an expert. I don't know. But yeah, so I would definitely go an original Dawn of the Dead, 9 out of 10. You know what, Sam? You're right. Or Beck, you're right. Always something wrong with a movie, but 9 out of 10 on the original Dawn of the Dead. 7 out of 10 on the remake.
I'd say there's nothing wrong with Barbarian.
Believe it or not, I'm actually not a huge fan of the ending of that movie.
Okay. Yeah.
But other than that, the ride itself is so much fun and so wild. I let it go. But yeah, I just love the original Dawn of the Dead. Remake is pretty good. Fright Night, I give the original like a 6 out of 10. And I give the new one a 7 out of 10. Suspiria, both 10s.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sounds about right.
Beck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sure. I'm gonna get Fright. No, I'm having a crisis. Y'all are good.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this because Sam has somewhere to be. I need to go eat some dinner, and Beck's whole life is falling apart apparently. He's got a crisis. But yeah, so until next week when we talk about A24 horror films, I'm Devin.
Damn.
I'm depressed.
And
that's what people usually say.
And we will see you guys on the next one. Peace.